Hello, this is David with entry number, what are we at? 1098 or something? 1102, something around there. I wanted to make another video. It's only been a few days since the last one, but I thought it was, I guess, a convenient time for me. It's not the morning right now, although it looks pretty similar to how it was in the last video. It's currently 4:24, about, I don't know, about that time. I wanted to talk to you about the incident that occurred a couple weeks ago now, about a week and a half ago. And yeah, it was very strange, and it's the first time I've had a confrontation, I guess would be the word, confrontation in Japan, and it was with some of the business students I had. Before I tell the story, I think I'll frame it with prefacing that everyone has stress in their lives, and everyone deals with that stress in different ways. Some people drink, some people hit, some people yell, some people are passive aggressive. And if you try and kind of like bottle stress in your gut, in your head, it often comes out in ways that are inopportune. And last Thursday, two Thursdays ago, that's what happened in class. I have a student who's going through a bit of a tumultuous time, I guess, in his life. He's in his late 30s, I would guess. I don't know for sure. And he's going through some stuff. And the last couple months, he's been a bit different than he was in the past. A bit more standoffish, positively standoffish, not in a negative way, but definitely standoffish. And so in class, it was about 15 minutes before class was supposed to be over, and I mistakenly thought that it was time to end class, so I started to wrap up the class. Kind of just said, do you have any other final questions? And if not, we're going to end. And yeah, this particular student did not take to that at all. He got extremely offensive, and he began to tell me that I can't end the class. And I said, why? And he said, oh, because your contract says you have to teach until 7. And I was like, really? And then I remembered that the class doesn't end until 7. And so I said, okay, then let's continue. And instead of stopping his art diatribe or whatever, he continued to, I wouldn't say berate me, but he could not get off this idea that I would end the class 15 minutes early. He began to kind of spiral in a very kind of psychotic way. He just kept repeating to himself, or to me, I guess, that I couldn't end the class then, that the class ends at 7. The class ends at 7, and then he started talking about my contract with the company, and he just kept saying, like, you can't end the class now. You know it ends at 7. Your contract says 7. You can't end it now. And it got to a point where I just was like, he did it for maybe 2 or 3 minutes straight, and I kept repeating, like, okay, let's continue. At no point did I ever tell him to relax or to stop, because I realized that he was starting to kind of go a little mad, and I know that can often, telling someone to stop, or that they're acting weird or something while they're in the process of acting weird, is often the negative thing to do. And so I didn't say anything like that. I just said, let's continue, please, let's continue. Okay, I hear you, let's continue. And then it got to a point where I just told him to his face, like, okay, I see you're angry. I see you're very upset, and I think we can continue with the class now. And at that point, he repeated to himself maybe 2 more times, like, it's 7 o'clock, you can't end it here. And yeah, and so we finally started to move forward from that. The other student and I in the class, the other student was perfectly fine. He was kind of laughing to himself the entire time. And yeah, me and him just talked for another 10 minutes. And because at that point he had wasted like 5 minutes, and the other student just shut up and didn't say anything and just kind of looked upset, embarrassed, and we ended the class at 7, and that was it. So it was a really strange thing that happened, I guess. It was really awkward, and I could kind of see on the guy's face as I left, like he felt like an idiot. He felt like a fool for acting that way. And, rightly so. He embarrassed himself pretty badly. And he didn't offend me at the time, but thinking back on it, it is kind of offensive. Someone kind of bringing up your contract with not even him. It's with the company, the corporation that he works for. So it's not really even him. And of course, it comes down to him being in a really bad spot personally. He's really upset with his work, and he doesn't have a family, and he doesn't seem to have any friends that he talks about in class. He seems to just go home every day and just do nothing. Every weekend is him doing nothing. So he's a very sad character, and it's not that uncommon in Japan to have these kind of men and women running around that don't have any kind of control or feeling of control in their lives. And I guess it came out that he had to like take his anger or aggression or whatever he was feeling out on someone, and I guess it just so happened to be me. Now, in last week's class, he came a little early. He was the first one there, and he did not apologize to me. He just continued to kind of act like everything was normal. That I guess like he had never done that. A little outburst, and personally, I didn't really appreciate that at all. I was completely expecting him to say, "Oh, I've acted like a fool, and I'm sorry," but he didn't say anything like that. And I'll be honest, I wasn't very nice to him in class for the rest of the hour and a half of class. I wasn't mean or negative to him, but I wasn't laughing at anything he said. And I didn't really feel like I needed to be perfectly honest. Personally, I'm not like, I'm someone who is very even, like, I don't know what to say. In the more recent years, in the last 5 years or so, I've kind of come into accepting that I'm kind of an emotional person, but I'm very like, when it comes to like treating people nicely, I think that if you don't know someone off the street, you should treat them pretty decently. And if you start to like build a relationship with someone, you have to kind of have a respect both ways. And I see it as he disrespected me, so I'm not going to just immediately forgive someone for that. And I don't really care what's going on in your personal life, because I'm living my life, and I'm not a total diva to my students, even though I'm really tired all the time because I'm waking up at 4:30 every day, and so I have a certain level of expectation when it comes to how I'm treated and how I treat students. And if I don't receive that respect, then things aren't going to be so good for you. And it's a very simple equation. You as long as you're giving in, you're putting something into the system, you're going to get out an equivalent or better uh, outcome. And if you're not, then you're not. So that was it. It was a little upsetting at the time, and at the rest of that evening, I was kind of upset. But in retrospect, it's just what it was. It's a sad man lashing out and trying to feel like he has power. And I've talked about it with a number of my Japanese students and friends and stuff, and they've agreed that it's not uncommon for that situation to happen. And yeah, it's just sad. It's just sad. I could run his character down, and I won't. But it was just a weird kind of thing that happened. But I guess we're moving on. Oh yeah, and the last bit, I'll end it now, is that I guess at the end of the month he will not continue with the class, which I'm pretty happy about now. And you know, it is what it is. So that's all. I'll talk to you later. Bye.